Okay, thanks for the time that given to me to convey my knowledge about our subject. It is about English learning teaching curriculum. And before that, the honorable our lovely lecturer, Mrs. Yasmina Amerika Telembanu MPD, and beloved friends. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I have to put in my mind what is the curriculum actually. So ladies and gentlemen, the curriculum is a policy. It is about the guidelines, instructional material, or tasks that influence teachers and students. So impossible for the teacher can run well the learning teaching process without understanding actually what is the curriculum. So ladies and gentlemen, in the curriculum also consists of the goal of the education, consists of the goal or target of the lesson of the material. So by understanding about the curriculum, by understanding of the goal of the education, teacher can run well the education, or maybe teacher can run well the learning process in the classroom or in the out of the classroom. So ladies and gentlemen, in the talking about the curriculum also, actually the curriculum must be live. The question right now, what is the live curriculum? So live the curriculum, it is about how to engage students and teachers, both of them, in any kinds of the activities in the classroom. So it's not just a teacher is active and then the student is ineffective. So here is the very important, both of them, like teachers and students, must be collaborative, must be interactive in the classroom and more be active. So ladies and gentlemen, talking about the curriculum also, there are three principal approaches. The first talking about the input, and the second one is about the process, and the last one is about the outcomes. So I'm gonna tell you, or I'm gonna explain to you the three things. The first it is about the input. So ladies and gentlemen, talking about the input, it is about the syllabus. So syllabus, by understanding the curriculum and then make the syllabus. So in the syllabus talking about the goal of the subject, goal of the target of the lesson, and then finally make the lesson plan, what are the steps that we will implement in the classroom next. And after talking about the input, the second one it is about the process. In the process, it's about the teaching learning process. In the teaching learning process, we are going to implement the method, we are going to implement the strategy that have to be made. And the last one talking about the outcomes. Talking about outcomes, of course, it is about the result of the learning process, of the teaching learning process. Talking about the outcomes also means that what the learners can do after learn about the subject, after everything done. So what they can do is the result. And also, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the curriculum also, in the second language curriculum also, there are two terms that are going to talk about, that is about the context and the content. So as a teacher must differentiate between two terms. The first is about the context, and the last one is about the content. So the context is about the condition or the context at the time. Meanwhile, the content, it is about the material or lesson that we give to students. So ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are as the new generation right now, we are going to learn about the ELTC. Yes, of course, the last generation also learned about the ELTC2 or English Learning Teaching Curriculum. However, because the difference between context, that's why make the differences between content, because what the content or what the material we are going to learn in this subject, yes, and then it is a difference between the last generation also, even though the same subject. So that is what means the context. So teacher have to arrange the content of the learning of the material must be suitable with the context at the time. So ladies and gentlemen, here also we are going to learn about the content of the curriculum. Talking about the content of the curriculum must be, there are three terms. The first, it is about sequencing of material, and the second one is it is about the format or presentation, and the last one talking about the monitoring or assessment. So I'm gonna tell you three things. The first point, it is about sequencing of the material. So sequencing of the material, it is about how the teacher arrange the lesson, arrange the material from the first chapter, from the introduction until the last lesson. So I'm gonna take one example, like talking about the biology subject. So in the biology subject, there are so many material actually. So how the teacher can arrange well the material. For example, there are 10 chapters, and the first chapters until the last chapters. For example, you take the 5th chapter and then you put in the first chapter, so it will make the students confused about that. So that's why it's very important about sequencing of the material. And the second one, talking about the presentation. However, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the presentation, the teacher have to, present the material well in the classroom, have to excite the student in the classroom, so the student will be support and curious about the language subject, and they want to learn more about that. And the last one, talking about the monitoring and assessment. It is seems like an evaluation. So evaluation can be done through the task, like homework, like project, or maybe the personal individual presentation, for example, like what I'm doing right now. So the teacher will know how our ability actually by doing the subject and any kinds of the task. And then, ladies and gentlemen, also besides learn about the curriculum, learn about what is the content and the context, also we are going to learn about how to deciding on content. However, ladies and gentlemen, it's not easy to make the content actually for in the classroom for students, because when teacher make the content, must understand about the student's environment, the student needs, the student age, the student motivation, the student interest, and so on. Because if impossible for you, if you wanna make the lesson, if you wanna make material, you are going to teach the student in elementary school. Meanwhile, the material actually suitable for senior high school. Impossible if you do that. So that's why here you are going to learn about, understand about the students actually, understand about the environmental, and then you are going to make the content. However, ladies and gentlemen, after you are going to decide on content, finally you are going to adapt the material. So adapting material, it is very good for us also to find out a lot of sources. So ladies and gentlemen, in adapting material also, there are some process if you want to do that. For example, like adding get a lot of resources. The second one is about the filtering, like find out what are the material that's suitable for you. And then the third is about modifying, and the last one maybe about adapting. And after do that, about adding, deleting also, and also about the filtering, and you are going to adopting the material after you filtering any kinds of the resources. And finally, you are going to implement the material. However, ladies and gentlemen, if the teacher implement the learning process, if the teacher implement the material, must be understand how to make it more active, how to make it more creative. Maybe the teacher can can implement the material, can teach the material by doing like collaborative group work for students, or maybe the students personal presentation like this. So it will be make the teacher understand about that, how to do evaluation also after done the material in the classroom. And then after adapting the material also, it is very important for us to talking about the selecting of the material and also developing material. I have just already explained just now about selecting material. It is can be done through process, for example, like adding, filtering, and so on. And then it will actually by understanding, it's by selecting the material also, it will help us to understand the target of the language, the target of the language subject, the target of the material. And then it will help you to make a lesson plan, to make a steps, and when you implement to the students, it will be made more easier, and also the student will understand. And then, ladies and gentlemen, talking about also developing material. Developing material can be done through like do evaluation. It will be developed after you find some weakness when you are going to teach students, and then you are going to develop it again. So as I just explained about just now, it is about developing material can be done through evaluation. For example, like through task, project, assignment, and so on. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have done, and I have just explained about the curriculum, the deciding on content, deciding on material, how to adapting and adopting material. And finally, I want to explain to you also about kinds of the curriculum. So as we have just discussed before, it is about curriculum of 13, or usually people in Indonesia usually understand about curriculum of 13. Yeah, curriculum 13. So actually curriculum of 13 actually support the students to be more active. The purpose of the curriculum of 13 going to support the students' religion, students' art, and students' skill. There are three terms. And then in this based on the research that have been discussed before also, the curriculum of 13 actually there are so many weaknesses. So that's why must be the teacher have to do some hard work to make how to get find a solution to be to solve all the kinds of the problem. And also, ladies and gentlemen, last week we have learned about some researching from a journal also talking about the new innovation of curriculum in Indonesia. Okay, innovation of the Indonesia. So in this new innovation in curriculum of Indonesia, talking about the CBSA or students active learning. This is one of the innovation that we have been implemented in Indonesia and until this time still continuing. But however, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, based on the data they have learned before, based on the journal they have discussed before, actually there are so many challenges actually. Even though this method, this curriculum actually really improve the student to be more active. However, there are some weaknesses that have the researchers explained before. It is about that there are so many teachers actually they are still lacking of the understanding about the curriculum, the goal of the curriculum, and also there are some students and instead a lot of the students not really understand or they are lazy and don't really care about the education. However, ladies and gentlemen, by understanding this subject, by understanding the curriculum, we are as the teacher in the next future, we are as the teacher in the next in the next era of globalization, we are going to be more professional. How to understand, by understanding this curriculum, we have to be more active, understand about what is the curriculum, what is the purpose of the curriculum actually, of course, to improve the quality education of Indonesia. However, ladies and gentlemen, we are here as the perspective of the teacher, how we can do the best for our nation, how we can do the best for our education. We have to improve the quality of education by understanding curriculum. You can able to make a syllabus, what is the target of the material, of the target of the subject, and finally you make a lesson plan. So here you are going to put what are the steps you will be do in the learning process, and of course you will be get the outcomes the student will be can do based on the material that have been learned before. So that's all for me. Thanks for watching this video. I'm so sorry if there are many weaknesses while I'm talking my presentation. I hope it can be better in the next time. Thank you and see you.